Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the AMAS Ask Me Any Stock session. All right. Let me know, guys. Let me know if you can see and hear me. All right. Just type type GM for good morning. Let me know in the chat. Good morning. Hi, we have Bart Guan here today. Thank you so much. All right. Okay, we have John here as well. Let's see. Harish, good morning. Good morning. Hi, Feline. Good morning. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our Ask Me Any Stock session as well. Let me go ahead to just get started right now. All right. And this is our Friday weekly session. All right. Whereby we are talking about the stocks that you guys want. And today, right, we'll be talking about the Singapore market. I know some of you are already typing in the name of the stocks, right? Esther, is it a good level to buy? Food Empire, Sheng Siong as well. Let's see, Andy Tan, good morning. Geo Energy, Valuetronics, Sets. Good morning as well. All right, we have a Chester, the hourglass, is it? Can sustain its uptrend. So I think some of you are typing the name of the stocks. So not to worry, guys. Later we'll go through the stocks that you guys want. All right, step by step, one by one. Me, my team, Bervyn and Zee is here as well. All right. So those of you who have just joined us, would it be okay if you do us a favor, help us to like and share this live show right now so that we can reach out to more people as well, or just to add more value to more people as well. All right, so help us to like and share this, show us some love, give me some hearts as well. That would be really, really helpful to the channel as well. All right, hit the hearts button. Thank you so much for those of you who have given us some hearts over here. Thank you so much. Awesome. Good morning, Miffy, Jason. Good morning as well. All right. Okay. So very good, guys. In this particular AMAS session every Friday, right? What happens is that, as the name sounds, right? Ask me any stock. So today, Singapore market, Singapore stocks, we'll be looking at the STI for sure, the Straits Times Index, because it's a Singapore market. Of course, maybe we'll do a quick market outlook and maybe take a look at the S&P 500 Index as well. So S&P 500 Index, the STI, maybe go through very quickly what are some of the factors that have been affecting the market, right? The market, are we seeing strength coming back? Are we potentially seeing a reversal based on the news that have happened over the past few days, based on what Donald Trump has announced, all right? Are there any changes in terms of the tariffs news as well? We'll find that out in a bit. And after that, then we'll go into the stocks, right? The Singapore stocks that you guys want. So very quickly, later you can let us know the Singapore stocks that you want. We will go through it one by one, and we'll do it round robin style. Me and then Bervyn and then Zee will go through one by one. And at the end, so this AMAS live session will usually last like about 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours. We keep it short. We cover one stock, maybe 1 or 2 minutes each, and we move on. So at the end, we'll share with you guys three Singapore stocks that you can put in your watch list as well. All right, me, Bervyn and Zee, so total 3, 1 each. All right, and that's what we do in today's AMAS Singapore session. Okay, so let me just go to introduce my team. So for those of you who are just joining us, you have no idea who I am. My name is Joey Choy, top tier reminder, trader in Philips Securities. I've been doing this for more than a decade now, conducting trainings as well. All right, and pretty much a top broker, assisting our teams, fund manager with the fund manager business as well. So I have this strategy called the One Good Trend strategy. Later I'll share you guys a bit more based on the stock that you guys asked. And I also have this indicator called the One Good Trend Pro indicator that gives us an opinion, all right, on any stocks, any asset classes, whether it's Singapore or US stocks, in seconds, and guides us on when to buy and sell. So that's what we'll use later to go through the stocks that you guys want and even share the top stocks at the end. So I've been using this One Good Trend strategy for more than a decade now. All right. So you want to find out a bit more, you can attend all those free webinars. But today, we don't have time to explain the whole strategy to you. All right. It's pretty much just going through your stocks quickly, one by one, and we move fast, right? So that's me, all right, Joey here. And I have my team over here as well. Today, we have Bervyn joining us as well. Bervyn is a chartered financial analyst, CFA, for those of you who is in the banking and finance space, right? This is one of the highest qualification one can get, very prestigious cert as well, all right? And Bervyn has been assisting me in Philips Securities, is one of the top brokers under me as well for more than 4 to 5 years now, conducting our group coaching session, our one-on-one sessions for our mentees as well. So maybe Bervyn, just going to introduce yourself, say a few words.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Joey, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our every Friday, our AMAS session. As Joey has mentioned, today we are going to cover the Singapore market. As we can see over the last month or so, stocks have picked up again. The equity market is doing a little bit better, coming back from that sell down we had in early April. So I mean, now we are in the start of May, so I think everybody is looking forward to the earnings, especially for the banks that are coming out already. So I think this session, I think you can get quite a little bit of insight from us for the Singapore market. So without further ado, I'll pass it back to Joey to introduce Zee as well.
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. All right, so I have Zee as well here, who will be going through the stocks that you guys are asking about. And Zee has been joining our weekly Friday AMAS session, give you guys an opinion. She is one of the top brokers under me in Philip Securities as well. All right, conducting our group coaching session, our one-on-one sessions, our mentees, and also assisting our team's portfolio management as well. All right, the business as well. And Zee is also what we call a CMT, Chartered Market Technician. Anything to do with charts, candlestick patterns. Zee is a go-to person. All right, of course, both of them are very well versed in my one good trend strategy and the one GT Pro indicator that we'll be using to analyze your stocks as well. All right, so I'll just pass on the mic to Zee, maybe to say a few words today.
Hi everyone, thanks Joey for the introduction. My name is Zee. Good to see a lot of familiar names back here today. I think I've seen quite a number of clients back here today as well. So I believe some of you guys have been joining us for the past few sessions, and you probably have already see our faces quite a bit, right? So maybe today I'll just share a bit something different, right? So not so boring now. Okay, so maybe just more on a personal level. I'll just let you guys know a little bit more about myself. I'm the kind of person that really like animals, and I treat them like my best friends lah. But even though I don't have a pet, right? And on top of that, right, in terms of trading and investing, for me, my philosophy is always to keep things as simple as possible, which is one of the reason why the One Good Trend Pro indicator is something that will be able to help you with that, right? You don't need to have too many things too complicated on your chart, because once you see too many things, you also be like, what is actually going on, right? So that is where we later on, moving forward, when we actually go through all of your Singapore stocks, right? That's where you can actually see how the 1GT Pro indicator will actually help you in that, all right? So if you want to enjoy, a good lighthearted content, and you want to simplify your trading journey, right? Just come along for more of the sessions upcoming, every Friday with us, and we would love to see you back more at our live session. All right, so back to Joey today.
Thank you so much, Zee. All right, very good introduction. All right, so sharing a little bit on ourselves. So we try to add more value to you guys, basically in this, ask me any stock session that we do. All right, it's just really to share the strategy, to go through your stock, so that you have a good, kind of like a better understanding of whether to buy, to sell, maybe to wait. All right, and what happens is, guys, some of you are already typing in the name of the stocks that you want, right? Great, right? But would be good, right? It would be good if you can give us a little bit of context as to the stock. Like if you just type Singtel or DBS, and then what about DBS? I mean, what do you want to know about, right? So give us a bit of context, right? Maybe you have bought it last month at this price, or you don't know whether to sell at this price, or you want to buy some more, or what, let us know, so that we can give you a bit of an understanding, a clearer understanding based on your stock and based on the context that you've given us. Does it make sense? All right, so that's what will happen. So now let me just go to do a very quick sharing of this, right? In this particular live show, Ask Me Any Stocks. Well, just a quick disclaimer, right? That whatever that's being shared, right? Whether is it the 3 bonus stocks at the end, or whether is it the stocks that we have given you a quick technical opinion, it's just for education purpose only, right? So please do your own due diligence. All right, it's really not to ask you to buy or sell anything, or maybe not to buy or not to sell. All right, it's just for education and maybe even entertainment purpose. All right, hopefully you guys will enjoy this session as well. All right, and this is the standard disclaimer. Okay, so let me just get started right now. And maybe how many of you want me to go through the markets, right? The markets, just to give you guys an idea of what has been happening. Just type M for markets, guys. If you want me to go through the markets very quickly, maybe even the S&P500 Index, just type M for markets. And for markets, do a quick roundup on what has happened. And could the market be in for a reversal? Are we getting more bullish? What is happening? Let me know if you guys want to know about, or we'll just dive directly into the stocks that you guys want. All right. Okay, seems like a lot of you are typing M, David M, SC, all right, Elvin as well, Mini M, Ferlin M, thank you so much. But what M, market, Mahison, hi, good to see you here as well. All right, very good. So let's just talk about the markets for maybe 5 minutes, right? Very quickly. So this is the S&P 500 Index. So before I talk about the market, technically what is happening and all the key support and even resistance level, let me just share with you guys what has happened over the past few days. All right. So those of you who have been following the markets, I think you know, right? In April, one of the worst sell down I've seen, since COVID. The S&P 500 sold off by 5-6% in one day, right? When Trump introduced what we call sweeping tariffs on a dozen of countries, and of course it escalated a little bit with China. All right. Right now, I think the tariffs with China is still at 145%. It was like 54 and then 80 something and then 100 plus, and now it's like 145%. China retaliated, and in terms of the tariffs on US goods coming to China, it would be like about 125% if I'm not wrong, right? So it's that is pretty much at a very high level, all right? It's pretty much unsustainable level as well, and that has kind of like triggered the sell-off that we have seen in early April. So a month has passed and things are starting to look a little bit more stable, all right? The fear index has gone down as well. I think people are slowly starting to come in, all right, to bargain hard, and we are indeed seeing some strength in the market. So in terms of the tariffs, right, of course, there was a 90-day pause, all right, in the reciprocal tariffs for a dozen of countries back to the 10% baseline tariff. So that's where the markets spike up. At least there was some negotiation, right? And then many of these countries are kind of like approaching the US to maybe do a trade deal. And of course, I think last night they announced that the US has done a trade deal with the UK, all right, and that kind of like sparked more momentum in the market as well, all right. And I think it's like back to the 10% baseline tariff for the UK. So it's not like going up, it's just going to maintain. And that's good, all right? So that is kind of like the news in terms of the tariffs. And of course, for US and China, that is still kind of like the main thing to look at as well in terms of the trade tensions. There are talks about, ongoing discussion. Hopefully, both countries, which are now slowly taking what we call a softer stance, kind of like a less aggressive approach, all right? And that is, kind of like, introducing a little bit more positivity in terms of the market as well, all right, whereby people are saying that Trump might not be so aggressive, and in fact for China as well, I think over the past last week or so, they've exempted some of these goods coming from the US in terms of the 125% tariff. They exempted some of these goods, right, chemicals and all that, right, quietly, right. So they are, so both countries are slowly cooling off, all right, because they realize that it's unsustainable. 100%, 145, 125%, it's unsustainable, right. So hopefully, all right, tariffs will go back down, and that could be a boost to the market as well, like what we are seeing over the past week, right? So that has been pretty much the news that has been affecting the markets. Things are definitely starting to look a little bit more stable, all right? It seems like a bottom could have already been found, all right? Of course, we need a bit more confirmation, but there are some beginning signs of a reversal slowly happening already, all right? So this is the S&P 500 Index. Very quickly, let's go ahead, take a look at it right now. You can see that this last night, S&P 500 went up by about a few hundred points, all right? Now it's like 5,663. So if we can take a look at what we call the trend, well, you can see that the long-term trend for the US market, I mentioned as well, has actually been up since last year, all right? Look at the red line, the 100 days moving average line, and the blue line, the 200 days moving average line. Both of them have been pointing up, right? Not just last week or last month, since like last year. So the trend has been up in the longer term since last year, just by looking at the red and blue line. All right, of course, in the short term, came down a little bit like here and there, right? 1 week, 2 weeks, but long-term trend is up, right? Over the past, I would say 2 months. Well, this red and blue line, well, they started to like flatten out a little bit. The red one maybe down a little bit, maybe starting to flatten out as well. So there are some signs of the long-term trends, maybe starting to turn from up to sideways or maybe down a little bit, all right? So that is the thing about the long-term trend. But if you look at the short-term trend, well, take a look at the green 20 days moving average line. So this green line gives an idea of the short-term trend. So when the green line is pointing down, not good. Look at this green line is pointing down, not good. Look at this, it was like pointing down in August 2023, down for like 3-4 months, not good. We want the green line to point up, and that means that the short-term trend has turned up, all right? So since like February, you can see that the green line was actually pointing down all the way to April, down even more, right? But over the past week, the green 20 days moving average line has actually started to point up. Does it make sense? All right, yes, point up, in fact, over the past week. So there are some signs of the short-term trends finally, all right, reversing its course, all right, getting a little bit more bullish, all right, some bargain hunting is coming back just by looking at the short-term trend turning up. Does it make sense? All right. So what we could do right now is that, as I say, right, we have this one good trend pro indicator, of course, based on the one good trend strategy that I have. So I don't have time to explain the whole strategy to you guys. You find out more, attend more of those free webinars. I'll just get my team to place the link in the chat. All right, check it out. That's where we have one webinar next week to share you a little bit more on the entire strategy and perhaps how you could have this indicator as well, just to make your decision much easier as well. So you can see, right, this is the one good trend pro indicator. Let me just go ahead to turn on the buy and sell signals, right? So you can turn it on for the market, the S&P 500 Index, any stocks you want, all right, whether is it crypto or even FX as well, whatever, any asset classes, any stocks, Singapore stocks, US stocks, get an opinion in seconds. Let me show you what I mean, right? Let me just turn it on, 1, 2, 3, pump. There we go, all right, and you can see, right, these bullish and bearish signals have come out. So you can see for S&P 500 Index, in fact, before, just like two weeks, the previous AMAS session, right, for the US market and for the Singapore market as well, I mentioned that we actually had not one, but two bearish signals actually coming out, all right, and it was in February, right, even before the whole April market sell down. So February, right, there was already two bearish signals coming out. There was a bit of weakness already. So if you have taken some profit, get out. Great, right? Because two bearish signals came out because the green line also started to point down then as another confirmation. Does it make sense? All right. So you probably don't want to buy so much or overload when you see like bearish signals. Same thing for the market, same thing for the stocks that we'll talk about later. All right. But over the past 1 week, well, good thing, right? Finally, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal coming out, all right? And of course, I mentioned that the green 20 days moving average line has started to turn up as well as another confirmation. So something like this. Look at this, right? That was in November 2023, right? So same thing, we got a couple of like bearish signals, right? Bearish and bearish, and it starts going down. A new bullish signal came out in November 2023, and of course, the green 20 days moving average line started to turn up as well as another confirmation. And there we go, all the way up, all right? So I don't know, right? Could this bullish signal that we've seen be something like what we're looking for right now? Could it lead to a reversal? Well, it remains to be seen, but at least there are some signs of the, short-term trend turning up. There are some signs of a potential reversal signal leading, all right, the next wave of the rebound, all right? Does it make sense so far? All right, so that is what we're seeing right now. I think there's definitely some strength in the market. We could potentially, see a reversal move as long as we stay above some of those key support levels. So what are some of the key support levels? Well, if I can draw it for you, I think we are seeing this support right over here quite clearly at the 5,500 level. Let me just write it down, 5500. So I think 5,500 would be a very key psychological support level for the S&P 500 Index. If you can stay above, over the past like 1 week, we're still above it. The green line is right over here as well. So if you can stay above the 5,500, good, all the way to maybe 5,800. A little bit of a resistance here at 5,800. You can see, right? So that was where we touched in like March, came back down. We neared it, came back down. So 5,500 to 5,800, right? 5,500 to 5,800. 5,500 to 5,800. So that is pretty much the range right now for the entire market, right, in terms of the S&P 500 Index. So I think if you can even break the 5,800, right, great. Markets could be even more bullish. The reversal can continue even more, all right? And maybe all the way to the 6,200 or 6,150. That was pretty much where we were, right, in like December all the way to March before the recent sell down, all right? So that is the markets, right, the S&P 500 Index, all right? So let's take a look at maybe the STI. Just type S for STI, guys. If you want me to cover maybe the Singapore market, that's what I mean. Since today we are talking about the Singapore stocks, right? So just type S for STI if you want me to cover the Singapore Straits Times Index. Good morning, Styler. Good to see you here as well. I think every Friday you're joining us. Thank you so much. Let's see, Catherine, S for STI, STI as well. Thank you, Styler. All right. How about Hong Kong stocks? So we'll not cover Hong Kong stocks. So basically in our AMAS session, we are just alternating between the Singapore market and the US market, because we're going to cover like so many markets. There'll be too many things. So just to focus, all right, Singapore market and US market. So today, Singapore, next Friday, US. We don't do Hong Kong stocks, unfortunately. Maybe in the future, we'll see how, but today we'll look at Singapore, all right? So let's see, STI, S, thanks, Baksun, S. Very good. So let me go ahead to take a look at the STI right now, Singapore's Straits Times Index. There we go. So I just turned on very quickly, right? As I say, any asset classes, any markets, we can turn on the bullish and bearish signals in seconds. So for STI, well, we got a bearish signal. When was that? That was on the 4th of April. I think that was when Donald Trump announced the sweeping tariffs, right? Even Singapore got hit as well. The US market got hit, and Singapore sold off quite heavily as well. So we've got a bearish signal, you can see all the way down, all right? Some good bullish signals in like August last year, another bullish signal in like May, April last year. There we go, there we go. All right, so bullish signals can guide you to maybe take a more positive approach, right? Maybe think about getting in, but if you see a bearish signal coming out, it means that we have broken some key support levels. Then you probably don't want to buy so much. You probably want to wait first. All right, wait until you see some stability, or wait until you see a new bullish signal coming back. Does it make sense? All right, so that is how this tool can help you as well. All right, so let's take a look at STI. You can see that we actually had a new 1 GT bullish signal coming out on the, when is that? 17th of April. So that was like last, in fact, about 2 weeks back. All right, 2 weeks back, we saw a bullish signal, not just yesterday, since like 2 weeks back, 17th April. All right, when was that? So today is 9th of May, right? 9th of May, that was like 2 weeks back. All right, so that's where we saw the bullish signal coming out, and of course, started to push a little bit higher. Now we are 3,877. So not too bad, right? So this bullish signal is in play, all right? And if you look at the green line, right, when the bullish signal came out, it was quite a good rebound, quite a fast rebound, as you see, right? When the bullish signal came out, if you look up, you can see that the green line was actually pointing down, right? So that was still, a little bit shaky, right? I mean, even though the bullish signal came out, but the short-term trend was not exactly pointing up yet. It was still slightly pointing down, all right? So we wanted that confirmation as well, and it came, right? It came. You can see that the green 20 days moving average line over the past few days started to point out. I don't know whether you'll point out some more, but as of today, the green 20 days moving average line actually has started to point up over the past few days. So not too bad, not too bad. It seems like we are starting to see some strength as well. If I can give you a very key support level for the entire Straits Times Index, well, write it down. That would be quite clearly the 3,800 level, 3800. It's a very key support level. We were right over here before the whole April sell down. You can see rebounded. Of course, in April, everything went down. It broke the 3,008 and there we go, right? All the way to like 3,004, 3,005, right? But over the past 2 weeks, well, we have finally, after the bullish signal, right, we have gone above this 3,800 level as well, which we're still holding above. I mean, it's 3,878, right? So we're still above it. Good, right? And that is a sign of strength as well, as long as we hold above some of those key support levels, all the way to that psychological 4,000 level for the STI. All right, so I think not too bad. I think the Singapore market actually has been quite resilient. If you look at it, right, I've covered many of those Singapore stocks. Later we can take a look at stocks as well. It has been quite resilient, I would say, right, compared to the US that sold off quite heavily. Singapore actually, of course, they sold off on the first week of April, but after that, many of the stocks actually started to recover quite fast. All right, and yeah, we'll see if you can cover some of those stocks as well. Right, but Singapore has been pretty resilient, right, to the tariffs. So let's take a look. Right now, I would say that upside could be 3,008 all the way to 4,000 level. So that is pretty much where we were, the recent high before the sell down. All right, so that is pretty much the STI. All right, we have covered the S&P 500 Index and even the Straits Times Index. All right, so let's go into cover what we call the stocks that you guys want a quick opinion on. So very quickly, guys, go ahead to type in the chat. Some of you have already done it. Great. I'll just look through very quickly right now. All right, and before you do that, guys, would it be okay? I think we have like more than almost 200 of you joining us right here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who have just joined us, welcome to the Ask Me Any Stock session right now. Today we'll be looking at the Singapore market, your Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on. All right, that's pretty much what we're covering today, right? And if you're just joining us, you have no idea who am I, what are we doing today, right? My name is Joey, all right? Joey Choy, top tier advisor, trader in Phillip Securities. Been doing this for more than a decade now, talking about stocks. My focus is on Singapore and US stock. So if you are trading in the markets, you're buying or selling any Singapore or US stocks, then you're in the right place. You will definitely get some value today, all right? In case you're just scrolling through YouTube, and I think we're live on Facebook as well, all right? Yeah, so that's what we're doing. If you're trading stocks, then you are in the right place, okay? So let's see, right? Time to check, guys. Stocks that you want a quick opinion on, and would it be okay, as I say, guys, give us a bit of an context, all right? A bit of context, like what do you want to know about? Like Ray, Parkwaylife REIT. What do you want to know about Parkwaylife REIT? Are you thinking to buy or sell? I have no idea, all right? So give a bit of context so that we'll give a bit more priority for those of you who give us a little bit of context so that we can advise a little bit better, all right, to give you a better opinion based on what you asked, all right? Okay, so let me just go through very quickly. Let me just go through very quickly and see what would be the stock that you guys asked about. Let's see, all right? Okay, I'll just cover very quickly, and maybe I'll just talk about this first stock today, and that would be okay, let me just choose one, right? I mean, there's quite a bit of stocks, right? I haven't gone through yet because I was analyzing the market just now. Nelson, right? Nelson, good to see you here. I think Nelson, you've joined us before, right? You look very familiar, all right? Nelson, let's see. Singtel, intend to take profit. So you are probably holding on to it, right? And then you intend to sell and take some profit, correct? All right, so let's go ahead to talk about Singtel right now. Singtel, Singtel. Let's take a look. Where is it? Singtel, there we go, pump. Okay, this is Singtel right over here. What do you guys think about Singtel? I mean, before I even talk about it, right? What do you guys think about Singtel? Are we looking to be more up or more down? All right, more up or more down. This type U for up, D for down. If you think you're more towards the up direction or more towards the down direction, right? Let me go ahead to do a quick survey before I analyze it, right? Are we looking at more up, potentially moving up more, or potential of it coming down more? What do you guys think? Up or down? Let's do a bit of a survey here, so it's not just me analyzing, but you guys can participate as well. Especially Nelson, this one you ask one, you better help to give your opinion. But I think you'll say up because you bought it, right? Okay, let's see, right? Marco up, Clement Wong up as well, up to the moon. Marcus up, Ray up, right? So a lot of you are up as well. Nelson, what about you? All right, are you here, Nelson? All right, you're the one who asked this, so hopefully it's up for you as well. Okay, but I think very good that all of you say it's up. So that is what I mean. I'm going to analyze in a bit. Up as well. Ellen, Fu, Fiona up as well. Okay, so this is Singtel. Let me just pull up the comment again so you know what stock is this. Where is it? Right, Singtel. Okay, I've missed it, right? Team, help me just put Singtel. Okay, very good. So this is Singtel. All right, so I think all of you are pretty bullish on this stock, and I'm pretty bullish as well. In fact, Singtel was one of the stocks that we covered since a couple of, Ask Me Any Stock session a few months back. I'm not sure, maybe last month or something. Was one of our bonus stock that we shared as well. All right, I think it was right over here in March or February. We shared it, and it has since started to move up a little bit more. So the price now is 3.87. So very quickly, right? If you look at the longer term trend, as I say, right, Singtel has been a pretty good long term uptrend, not just last week or last month or beginning of the year, but in fact since last year. Well, just by looking at the red and the blue line. So if you look at it, right, guys, for the Singtel, if you ask me in anything last year, January, February, or even in 2023, I would say that it's very boring. All right, nothing much. It was just moving sideways. The red and blue, you can see it's all moving sideways, crossing up and down, one another. So nothing much. It was just moving sideways, right? But when we first, saw that bullish move right over here, right, in, I would say, May, right, May last year, right, that was when I think we had a bullish signal coming out, right, the first bullish signal coming out, and the trend really started to turn up. Look at the red and blue line. We have broke like the 240 to 250 resistance, and red and blue line started from, moving sideways, started to point up, and you can see red and blue line, 100 days moving average and 200 days moving average. Up to now, they are still pointing up. So very strong longer-term uptrend since last year, May, for about a year. All right, for about a year, the long-term trend is up. Of course, in the short term, we did see a bearish signal coming out as well. All right, that was in October, a bearish signal, and then the green 20 days moving average line that was going up started to come down a little bit, and then was like sideways. And finally, in 28th of January, right, that was like about 4-5 months back, right? 20th of January, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal, right? And that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Finally, right? After 2-3 months, we got a bullish signal coming out, and there's another confirmation. Well, the 20 days moving average line that was flat also started to point up, all right? So the point is up, maybe flat a little bit, and then up a bit more, and then up. Now I would say it's still up lah. So don't need to bluff yourself. I would say that the short-term trend is still up for now just by looking at the green line. So longer term trend is up. This short term trend, the green line, obviously is still pointing up. All right. So I think it looks pretty bullish still. And of course, this bullish signal is still in play. All right. And in fact, even when we had this sell off in April, right? When was that? I think on this day whereby it sold off, right? There was like this 7th of April, everything came off, right? Well, we did not actually have a bearish signal coming out, right? We're still holding quite okay, and I can turn on what we call the trailing support line to show you. So as part of the One Good Trend Pro indicator, we have this trailing support and resistance as part of the features, which is very powerful, right? It gives me an idea of, are we giving this the stock space to move up? Are we still holding above the trailing support level? So let's find out. You can see, right? So when the first bullish signal came out, well, we actually have a trailing support that pops up and follow Singtel as it moves higher. Look at it, right? Follow. In fact, right over here, we neared the trailing support, bounce off, and we are still holding above the trailing support, after the sell down in April, right? When Donald Trump introduced the reciprocal tariff. So that was a pretty good move, right? We're still holding above the trailing support. The green line started to slope up more. Obviously, right now, we are still holding above the trailing support level as well. I mean, there's still some space. So this trailing support, as I say, right, it gives the stock or any asset classes the space to breathe, right? The breathing space that it needs. It accounts for what we call the volatility of the stock. So if the stock is very volatile, up, down a lot, right? Then we give it more space. We don't want to follow so closely, right? But if it never move much, then it's not so volatile. Then you also don't need so much space because you also never move, right? But if you move a lot, then we give you more space, right? So as long as you're above this trailing support, that will be another confirmation that this stock is pretty okay, right? Pretty okay. So you can see there's still some space here. Trailing support is at about $3.60. I mean, price is 3.87 right now, and yeah, 360 would be the trailing support level. So as long as we stay above 360, right, it still looks okay, right? Because this is the space that we've given it to account for volatility, all right? And if you look at it, right, in fact, I can draw another horizontal support maybe at 370 just by drawing this horizontal support level that connect the lows that we've seen over the past 3 weeks, right? Since 16th of April, in fact, almost a month, we have been holding above the $3.70. So that is the horizontal support level, right? That's a horizontal support level, which does not account for space, right? The trailing support is the one that accounts for space. That's the reason why it is slightly lower. Does it make sense? All right. The horizontal support is just pretty much just the low, and then you just draw one line. That's it, right? That is where we have rebounded from over the past 2 to 3 weeks. So we are not only above the trailing support, we are also above the higher horizontal support that have came out over the past 2 to 3 weeks. So I think not too bad for Singtel, right? So I think Nelson, whether to intend to take some profit. So normally what we want to do is that we don't want to take profit too fast as well. I mean, okay, nothing wrong to take profit if you want, right? But the key is that where could some selling come back, and then you might want to take some profit. Well, if you want to take some profit near maybe that $4, I think $4 will be maybe a psychological resistance level, just to do a little bit of projection, right? You can see that we are pretty much consolidating in this range previously from here to here. All right, same thing. This is the range previously as well, right over here as well. I would say we can do a bit of a projection from here to here. Right, so that would be, I would say, near the $4. So anything above like 370, right, plus 30 cents to about $4, that could be where we might hit to before some selling or some profit taking can come back. So if you take some profit near $4, nothing wrong. All right, I think you can take some profit, take partial profits, 1/3, take half. It's up to you. But I feel that this stock still looks pretty good as long as we stay above like the horizontal support and even the trailing support. And in fact, if it breaks $4, right, we might even see a new bullish signal, and we might even push higher. And we want to break our profits, break the stock even further to maximize our profits. Does it make sense? All right. So nothing wrong to take profits, but as of now, I think it still looks pretty okay as long as those key supports that I talk about are holding. All right. So that is pretty much the first stock today for Singtel. So let me pass on the mic maybe to Bervyn, right? To Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock today. Bervyn, all yours.
Thanks, Joey. All right. I think for the next stock, let's see what do I want to do. Okay. Here we go. I think Andy. Good morning, Andy. I think you're asking about Geo Energy, Valuetronics. Can we hold? So I'm assuming you have bought in for both these counters. Maybe I'll cover Geo Energy because I think so another person was also asking. Okay, I think it's still here. We are also checking on Geo Energy. So let me just put it up onto the screen. There we go. All right. So I think for Geo Energy, I think the first thing first is prices are looking pretty good, or the trend is looking pretty good right now, as we have that 100 days, 200 days moving average finally crossing above each other, that 20 days moving average also showing some good signs. It's pointing up very, very steeply. So something we would like to see. I think it came up. We have those higher highs also forming as well as those higher lows starting to form. So I think these are all good signs for a counter that you want to see where they are holding. Are you intending to ride the longer term uptrend? So it's a good reversal so far. I think prices are holding above that 33 cents support level that it had been kept under for about a month. After that sell down, it managed to actually break above that previously a resistance, now turned support level. But I think in the nearer term, we may expect a little bit of a resistance close to that 36.5 cents level as well, where we were previously, or the prices had previously tested sometime last year as well, in March as well. So if I were to turn on just very quickly that 1 GT buy or sell signal, we have that 1 GT bullish signal that had actually came in about 3 weeks back on the 17th of April as prices broke above that 0.33 resistance level as well. So that is currently the support. I think that 1 GT bullish signal is still playing out at this point. So I think for Andy, if you're looking to hold, I think not too bad right now. We see a little bit of a consolidation right under the 0.36 resistance level. So if we were to just do a simple projection first upwards, I think up to 40 cents would be a very ideal target level if this 3.6 level gives way, which is rather close to its previous high sometime in February as well. So I think if you are looking to hold, what would you have to look out for? I think you want to make sure that trailing support is definitely still moving up along with the stock prices. And if prices approach that 40 cents level, you want to sell some to reduce a little bit of exposure or to take some profits off the table. I would say nothing wrong to do that. Nothing wrong to do that. The trend is your friend at this point. It's still your friend at this point. I think if the prices are definitely being able to test that 40 cents level, I think that continuation of that uptrend can continue. So I think as of right now, I would say we are still at the very start of that uptrend reversal. So if we were to see that 200 days moving average continue to point up, I think Andy, you are in a very, very good position, or Hoki, you are actually in a very, very good position if you are already actually currently holding these shares. But you want to be a little bit more careful as well, if we see weakness coming in or profit taking coming in close to that 3.6 level. Where would the next level be? Perhaps you may want to consider having like a stop limit order just below that 33 cents to make sure you lock in some profits at the same time while riding the trend. And especially if that 36 cents gives way, this stop limit order should follow the prices to move up as well. So just one more thing, don't shift your stop limit order down already, because now you are sitting on some profits. You do not want to have those profits turn into losses as well. So I think just setting a stop limit order at the underneath that 33 cents level should do you some good as well. Okay, so I think that is a very, very quick one for Geo Energy. I will pass the time on now to Z to cover the next stock for you.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me just share my screen over here. Okay, so the stock that I'll be covering is from Chester, right? So Chester is actually asking about the hourglass, which I think, yeah, here, right? Can the hourglass continue to actually move up further, right? So, I think previously you were also saying, can it sustain the uptrend? So let's take a look at this particular stock, all right? So in terms of this stock, right, from the Q4 of 2023, right over here, we actually started to see signs of the trend breaking down, right? And it's actually a downward trend very clearly because of the moving averages, and all of them are actually pointing down. Prices actually also broken the support level, right? And then that was when 2024 we started to see sideways movement, whereby the longer term moving average, the red and the blue line, starts to flatten out, right, the entire year. And then the blue line also came down, and then flattened out, right? So where are we at right now? Right, so over the past year, from 2024 to where we are at currently, it seems that price have just been kind of like trading up and down within this range, right? This range, and where this range would be is to be somewhere around this $1.40, which is the support level, right? And also this resistance near this $1.65. Why? Because we see that it has been tested indeed multiple times. Right over here, right after it broken down, right? Buyers came back in, attempting to push price back up above the 165, but unable to, right, a couple of times. And then right over here, it actually broke above. But the thing is that it's unable to hold, right? It's unable to hold. Then sellers came back in, pushed price back down again, and that's where we actually got a 1 GT bearish signal as well. Again, same thing right here and right here, right? So I would say the 165, right, is actually one of a very key resistance level to actually take note. So I'm not too sure, Chester, if you're actually holding on to this stock. But if you were to mention about the uptrend, right, I'm not too sure if you're referring to the short-term uptrend, right, whereby prices actually rebounded, right, from this 145 support level right over here, right? Prices came all the way down to this 145, and then it actually rebounded, right? And this is where we also start to see some signs of the short-term trend pointing up, right? Which is the green one, the green line right over here, right? But in terms of the longer term trend, in terms of the bigger picture, we are still seeing that this stock is kind of like moving sideways. Not entirely like in an uptrend at this point in time. We only have some signs in terms of the short-term trend. But longer term trend, it is still look like it's actually moving sideways, right? So if you're actually holding on to these stocks, right, perhaps you might want to set some alerts at the resistance level right over here, this 165, right, near to this 165 level. Because, you know, if prices were to actually head back up to the resistance, is it okay to actually take some profits? Yes, it will be perfectly fine to take some profits, right? Especially when it is actually near a resistance right over here. There's nothing wrong to actually take some profits, right? And you know, put the money in your pocket, and you know, then that is where it is okay to take profits near the resistance level right over here at 165, right? And if prices were to actually break and hold above the 165, which is the immediate resistance, right? Perhaps, you know, at this 170 right over here, there could be some temporary resistance as well, because this is where it is a psychological resistance level, right? And this is where, you know, we saw that, you know, price actually did break above 165, right? But just at the 170, it just couldn't break above. Selling pressure came back in. So 170 would be one of the crucial level to watch as well, to see if prices can actually hold and break above this 175. Then perhaps we might potentially see an uptrend reversal for this counter if it's actually able to hold, right? And also the longer term moving average, which is the red and the blue line, if we actually start to see some sign of it actually starts to point up, that will be another sign of a potential uptrend reversal as well. But at this point in time, I would say in terms for the longer term trend, it still seems to be looking sideways. Short-term trend, there's some strength, but if you're considering to take some profits, would be near the immediate resistance about this 165. All right. So I hope that helps for Chester, the hourglass. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move on very quickly and let's see what we can cover today. So I think right now, I think a few of you are asking about this stock called Riverstone. All right, Savaraju can buy Riverstone. I think one of you, let's see who is asking about Riverstone as well. Hi. All right, I bought Riverstone at 1.02. Now the price dropped to 0.76. Yeah, it's about 0.755 now, drop a bit more. All right, should I sell it now? Okay, let's go to discover that. All right, so I think let's go to talk about Riverstone right now. Riverstone, so you can see that this is Riverstone. Quite a heavy selling today. I think there were some results announcement, if I'm not wrong. I think some results announcements over the past few days. Let me take a look at it, right? Attributed profit declines in first quarter, shares slumped 7%. So I think profits maybe came in below expectations and people are selling down the stock. Quite a heavy sell down today, right? And let's see if it's time to buy or maybe to sell as well. So you have got in, I would say, at Riverstone at 1.02. So somewhere over here, 1.02, maybe right over here, just before it came down, right? So by right, you would not want to buy a stock. I mean, let's just go ahead to turn on the bullish and bearish signal to see if you could be guided maybe to not buy previously. Let's go to show you, right? So you can see right over here, based on the one good trend pro indicator, right? Any stocks, any asset classes can turn it on. So there we go. All right, so not too bad for Riverstone. In fact, we have a couple of bullish signals coming out, right? That was in like November 2023. And we went all the way up, I would say, from here all the way up until we get a bearish signal, 65% in about 8 months, like 65%, 8 months. So when you get a bearish signal, then I think don't buy lah, because, you know, there's some weakness, and then green line also is pointing down, right? Why you want to buy? All right, so probably don't buy. When you see a bullish signal, then you can think about buying. All right, then of course you can see it started to move up, like from here all the way until the bearish signal came out, and about 18% upside in about like 3 months, right? So I think you got in around here, which I think for high, the thing is that by right should not have bought, because, you know, we broke down the $1 support. So I'm not too sure exactly where you bought, but if you were alerted to this bearish signal, probably don't want to get in, because that's where you can see that, you know, we have started to see selling coming back, and of course the green 20 days moving average line that was going up started to flatten out and started to point down as well, as another confirmation. So right now you can see that this green line might actually be still pointing down, right? And we got another bearish signal coming out as well, all right? Coming out as well. So you would want to have a plan, right? As you know, if you buy any stock like 102 to 75 cents now, all right, that would be, I would say, about a 27% downside already. So probably need to have a plan in the future. All right. I mean, should I sell it now? Well, my take is this, right? I think we could potentially see more selling. All right. If you ask me, like, 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I'll probably tell you to get out because we got a bearish signal. But the fact that it's came down already. All right. Not saying that you cannot sell, but the thing is that it came down by quite a fair bit. So we may even see more selling right now because we have broken maybe the 80 cents support level. All right. And we got a new bearish signal coming out. So probably want to have a stop loss. The point here is that I think you want to have a stop loss in the future. All right, have a plan so that if it breaks any support level, you get out. You don't want to just hold it all the way down. All right. So should I sell it now? Well, I think it really depends on your plan. For me right now, what I think personally is that there could potentially be more weakness ahead because another 1 GT bearish signal have came out. Right. So not one but two. First one that came out in January. Second one that came out like today, as I'm talking right now. I think we can, go below 80 cents. This bearish signal will still stay, and we might see a pullback maybe all the way back to that 62 cents, 60 cents. That could be like the next support level. So probably want to reduce some exposure. All right. Best if you have got out earlier, but if not, if you break certain support by right, you still want to reduce some exposure. You don't want to hold all the way down. All right. So that is for Riverstone. All right, that's for Riverstone. And to answer your question as well, like who is asking? Like Savraju. So high, you're asking about selling because you bought previously, right? Should you sell and get out because in case you go even lower? Saraju, you're asking about can you buy Riverstone? So you see, two complete things. One want to sell, one want to buy, right? But I hope you guys get a better opinion right now because why do you want to buy, right? Because we got two bearish signal, and when we get a bearish signal, you probably don't want to buy because we can potentially see more weakness. So Saraju, back to your question, right? I think probably don't want to buy because it might be cheap. So you might think, but Joey is very cheap, 0.755, 75 cents. Last week it was like 85 cents, now 75 cents. What, 10 cents cheaper? Wow, I better get rush in to buy, right? I don't know. I mean, next week, what if it's like 60 over cents, right? So the fact is that we don't buy just because it's cheap. All right, we want to buy only when there are some signs of a reversal, all right? Some signs of strength coming back, like maybe a bullish signal like this, right? Can you see that this bullish signals coming out? So previously we got some bearish signal that was going down, 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 and we got these three bullish signals coming out right over here, right? If we take this and copy and paste maybe over here, then you think about buying when it comes, all right? I don't know whether it comes, but when it comes, then it comes, all right? Then you think about buying, but not just buy because it's cheap. Does it make sense? All right, so has the bullish signal come out yet? Haven't yet, all right? So I don't know when it come out, but if it comes out, then we look at it. Then we look at a few more confirmations, like the short-term trend also turning back up. That could guide us to maybe get back in. So probably don't want to buy now because there are indeed some heavy selling today. We have broken the 80 cents. We got a new 1 GT bearish signal. We could potentially hit even lower in the short term. All right, so that is for Riverstone. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
Thanks, Joey. All right, okay, so the next Singapore stock, I think LS is asking, intend to buy IFAS. What is our opinion? All right, here we go. We have IFAS on the screen right now. Oh, pardon me. I think I have some drawings. Let me just remove. All right. Okay. So I think in the first glance, as you can see for IFAS, prices have pretty much been kept within a range since 2024 at the low of about 650. I would say about 650 level would be the low in 2024 and went up as high as 880, somewhere around there. So that's pretty much been a range, not moving outside of the range until very, very recently. We saw that there was a 1 GT bearish signal that came in. Prices broke below the 650 support level, attempted to push higher back towards that above that 650 to 880 range, did not manage to. I think earnings came in, wasn't too optimistic. We saw a 1 GT bearish signal and prices are now under that key 650 level that it had held throughout of 2024. So I think this level has, surely become like a resistance level here. So we do not actually want to be looking to buy because of other reasons as well. Because although it is comparatively, we look 880 versus 630. Yes, there's a $2.50 discount, but I think that doesn't mean you rush in to buy as well. As I think you want to pay attention to that 100 days, 200 days moving average, a longer term trend. Previously it was flat. Maybe you can participate in a little bit of a range trading or something like that. But right now, that 100 days looks to be tempting to cross below that 200 days moving average already. And furthermore, that 20 days moving average is right around that support, the resistance of 650 as well. And it is definitely pointing down at the same time. So I think with the immediate support coming in, I think right around that $6 psychological level, perhaps that's where maybe we can see a rebound. But as of now, if you ask me, will it rebound? I tell you, I don't know. Or will it break lower? Perhaps also as the trend or as if the weakness continues at the same time. So I think it's a little bit too early or a little bit too rushed to be getting in, although it's just getting cheaper at the same time. We want to look for a little bit of stabilization for IFAS at this point. We want to see that 20 days moving average, just flatten out and then eventually point back up. So perhaps that 880 target could be reinstated. But as of right now, I think the downside towards that $6 is, the probability of that is rather high for now. So we do not have any 1GT bullish signals. Perhaps if prices were to break above that trailing resistance that is definitely forming, then we can see another 1GT bullish signal, maybe perhaps slightly above that 650 level. Maybe you see right around this level here, where, then that's where you could time an entry, to do a little bit of range trading. But as of right now, I don't see any sign of reversal from the downtrend, the recent downtrend that is forming. So I think maybe there's other stocks in the market that you can potentially look at rather than rushing into IFAS for now. All right, so a very quick one for IFAS. I think I can pass the time to Z to cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I'll be covering is from Sky, right? So Sky is actually asking about Singpost, right? Singpost, can you move higher? Should you sell now? So I will assume that you're asking about sell, right? So probably you would have really been holding on to the stock now, but just I'm not too sure where you actually bought in the stock. But let's take a look at this, right? Okay, so for this particular stock, if you take a look at it, right, it was somewhere in August and October 2024. This was where we actually starts to see something happening, right? What's actually happening is that the short-term trend actually starts to move up. We start to see 1GT bullish signal, and that's where the uptrend from sideways, kind of sideways, and the uptrend actually started, right? But subsequently until 2025, when we actually started the year, this is where the longer term trend have actually also started to flatten out as well. It was initially going up, right? Going up, and then started to flatten out. And the short-term trend, of course, it goes up and down within this range, right? And as of now, what actually happened, right? So you're thinking about selling. And very recently, we actually see price actually broken above these 60 cents, right? This psychological resistance 60 cents. So let me just change it to green, because right now, price is actually trading above this 60 cents level. And very recently, on the 2nd of May, we actually also did get a 1GT bullish signal, right, on the 2nd of May, right? So if your question is you are thinking about whether to sell now, right? So I'm not too sure what's your trading plan, Sky. So because the thing is that if let's say you have bought near the support previously, right, somewhere around this level right over here, right? Let me just put this right over here. If let's say you have gotten in somewhere around here, right, and resistance back then is like 60 cents, right? Price have already risen about almost close to 20%, right? So I'm not too sure back then what's your trading plan. Like if you have gotten in here near the resistance, you could have taken some partial profits, right? You could have taken some partial profits as well, and then continue to ride the trend, because since now price have already broken above the 60 cents level, right? But now price have broken above the 60 cents level, right? What I want to see is if price is actually able to hold above these 60 cents, which is very crucial, right? Because the thing is that I think very soon on the 15th of May upcoming, right, there is actually their earnings results. And if you have seen, like, back here, in May 2024, and also in November, that's when they actually release their earnings result as well. But the thing is that past performance doesn't indicate the future performance, right? Especially when it comes to earning result. I also would know what the earnings for the companies would be like. And this is where we want to see whether, on this very day, right, closer to the earnings result date, is price actually able to hold above the psychological 60 cents level, right? And if it does, potentially the upside target that we can actually look at is towards this level right over here at 70 cents, right? And how did I get this? I just simply did a projection upwards from this 60 cents level, right? So I think for now, maybe what you might want to do is that perhaps you want to try to set some price alerts, right? To actually alert you that, you know, can this 60 cents level actually hold or not, right? Can this 60 cents hold? And if it does actually hold, then perhaps you might want to take some profits near the next target level, which is near this 70 cents resistance, right? I hope that helps for Sky. That would be a very, very quick one for Singpost. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much, Zee. All right, great analysis there. Let me go ahead to cover the next one. And I think some of you are asking about this stock, right? I think that would be, let's see, right? SC, Centurion can still get in, all right? So looking to buy, all right? Very good. Let's see. We have one more, Victor, right? Victor sell. Let's see what you're asking. Centurion has been slowly going up for the past many days. Yeah, indeed, it has been moving up. What is the next resistance that's possible? All right, that means maybe you're holding on to it, is it, and looking to maybe to sell at the next resistance? Let's find out as well. All right, so let's take a look at, you know, Centurion right now that I think some of you are asking about. And okay, let me just put to these comments a bit shorter. Okay, good. So this is Centurion at about $1.25. So yes, indeed, right? Yes, push up, I would say, over the past few days. And in fact, Centurion has been one of our top performing stocks we caught for, all right, since last year. So those of you who are actually clients of mine, VIP clients of mine in Phillip Securities, whereby all of us are brokers, right? Top brokers in Phillip Securities, you would have probably received a few WhatsApp messages on Centurion, all right, sharing about the ideas, sharing about the chart, sharing about the bullish signal and all that, right? Let me know how many of you are actually clients of mine in Phillip Securities. This type C for clients, guys. Just want to make sure that we do have some of you joining us as clients over here. This type C for clients. If you are actually a client of mine in Phillip Securities, getting our daily updates by WhatsApp, right, for free, all right? Let us know. Type C for client, guys. If you're clients, want to make sure we have a few clients joining us as well. All right, should have, right? Let's see. We have me. Thank you so much, Clement Wong. Thanks for the support, John, as well, Clement, C. So I think a lot of you are clients as well, or joining us today just to get more value as well. So basically, guys, these are some of the ideas that we send out. I mean, we talk about Singtel and some of the stock as well. In fact, later there'll be 3 bonus stock that we shared as well. But clients actually get it much faster than we do our weekly Friday AM AS session. All right. So if you want to get some of those top Singapore ideas by WhatsApp live daily for free, find out how to become a client of mine in Phillip Securities, right? FK Kong, how to join, all right? I'll share the link in a bit, right? Team, maybe you can just put the link in the chat, all right? To find out how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities for free, all right? The link is right in the chat. Join us, like Agnes. Thank you so much, Agnes, for support. Sophie, hi, Kongtat, good to see you here. David, Colleen, hi, Yao Kwan as well. So a lot of clients over here, thank you so much for support. Those of you who have been supporting us, you know, having a trading account under me. Essentially, that's what we do for our clients, just to add more value, to give them ideas on a daily basis so that they know what to focus on. So the link is in the chat. If you are not yet a client under me in Phillip Securities, like many of our clients over here, like Gary, like Madam Tan, like Grace, Sophie, all right? Well, check it out. The link is right in the chat. You can save it somewhere first, and then later you can go on to do it, right? So just click on the link, find out a bit more, and you know, fill up your details, and my team will be in touch. So you do not pay anything more. So especially, guys, as I say, you do not pay anything more. It's free, all right? And that's where we provide more value-added services, especially if you are trading in Singapore. I mean, you need a trading account to buy and sell stocks, right? So I don't know where you're trading, but if you are trading in Singapore, you have a trading account, and then you don't get any ideas or video or WhatsApp or and nothing or what, then you click on the link and you find out more, lah. Right, Ken? So that is the link. Let me get back to Centurion, which is one of the stocks that we covered to, you know, I think we sent out a note on Centurion over the past few months, right? So let's take a look at Centurion. You can see right now, we actually have a 1 GT bullish signal coming out, all right, over the past few days. In fact, when was that? That was in 6th of May, Tuesday. So Tuesday, I think that's like a few days back on Tuesday, 6th of May, we actually got a new 1 GT bullish signal, right? But before I talk about where we are, you can see that for Centurion, right, as I mentioned, since last year, we have sent out a couple of notes to our clients because we actually have a few bullish signal coming out. That was like in April last year, more than a year back. All right, we got a bearish signal, went sideways, boring a bit. All right, another bullish signal came out, and there we go. Right, there we go. So from here to the bearish signal, well, 56% in 4 months. Right, another upside from here all the way to here. Well, another 47% in 4 months. All right, a couple of bullish signal, pump, went up. And we had a bearish signal right here. Why did we have a bearish signal? Oh, 7 April, Donald Trump said something, everything came down. So yeah, no choice. Everybody got, sold off. So we actually have a bearish signal. And it was like moving sideways, consolidating a little bit. But finally, after the April sell down, we got a new 1 GT bullish signal actually coming out. So not too bad, right? The green 20 days moving average. So the long-term trend is up. I mean, look at the red and blue line, right? I think both of them are up, right? Don't you bluff yourself. Obviously, the long-term trend has been up since like last year, all right? So long-term trend is still up. The short-term trend was like up and then sideways and then up, still up. Now I would say still up as well. So both the long-term trend and the short-term trend is up. And if I can draw for you this horizontal support level that came out, well, I would say maybe we are seeing a little bit of support around the $1.20, right? Because that's where we have been holding over the past 2 weeks. And in fact, if you look at the green 20 days moving average line, that was like up. It is right over here as well. Okay, see, it's also right near the $1.20. So anything above that 120 or maybe above the 125 or even better, I think it still looks pretty bullish, right? Still looks pretty bullish. I think targets maybe could be revised all the way to 130 would be a near-term target. After 130, then maybe all the way to could be 140 to 150. So I think that would be for Centurion. It looks pretty okay right now. That could be the upside targets until maybe we see like a bearish signal, like over here we got a bearish signal, over here we got a bearish signal, and then we might want to maybe take some profit, get out. But as of now, I think it is poised for more upside. Things are looking more bullish than bearish. All right, so that is Centurion, one of the stocks that we shared with our clients since last year. Check it out. The link's right in the chat, guys. If you want to get some of those ideas by WhatsApp daily live, the link is in the chat. So I'll just pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock. But maybe before I do that, right, just want to share very quickly. I think some of you are asking, hey, what are the Yang Zhejiang covered? So I will do a quick recap, guys, very quickly on the stocks that we've covered so far up to now. So when I first started today, right, in the morning, we covered on the markets, the S&P500 Index and even the Straits Times Index. So in case you miss any of the stocks or the markets, right, guys, you can watch the replay. The replay will be on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Go up, hit the subscribe button so that when we go live, you will not miss it and you can watch the replay easier as well, right? So we covered the S&P 500 Index and the STI. The first stock I covered was Singtel, all right, Singtel. And then we talked about Geo Energy, all right, Bervyn covered Geo Energy, the Hourglass, Riverstone, IFast, Singpost that Zee covered, and I just covered Centurion. All right, so we will not cover the same stock again, guys, so watch the replay in case it's the same that you're asking about. And Bervyn, back to you to cover the next Singapore stock.
Thanks, Joey, for the recap. Okay, so I think let's move on. The next stock that I think I would like to cover is, I think, Gloria. Good morning, Gloria. I think asking about Seatrium resistance level to sell. So I believe you have bought it or you are currently holding on to some of the Seatrium shares from previously. Not too sure where you actually bought it, but yeah, I think it's a very, very valid question to ask whether is it time to sell because we saw prices have actually rebounded. All right, so I think just looking back a little bit previously, we saw that the 100 days, 200 days moving average was looking good. Since the end of last year, it started to point up a little bit, but unfortunately, we had this 1 GT bearish signal that actually came in and prices have actually sold down. Another 1 GT bearish signal and prices have sold down close to 30%. So, but yeah, since rebounded a little bit from that 160 support level, and we have a new 1 GT bullish signal that came in. So could there be more upside, or is it, or is the upside limited and that's why you want to sell? I think firstly, we have to identify that there's a little bit of a temporary support, I would say around that 185 to 190 level. Definitely we can see a little bit of a support coming in there for prices had actually rebound from this level, I think just sometime last week or last Friday as well. So currently I would place that resistance. Right around that 210, 208 to 210 level as well. So that is pretty much the range that you can actually expect, or the upside that you can actually expect up to that 210 first, Gloria. You maybe want to just write it down up to that 210. If prices approach that 210 and you are intending to sell or you are looking to sell, I would say nothing wrong to take that money and put in your pocket first. Take some of that profits, put in your pocket first to actually enjoy those profits, because we still have that 100 days moving average a little bit more flat or slightly a little bit, even some might even say it's pointing down, not showing signs of a longer term trend just yet. Okay, but that 20 days moving average looking good at this point, pointing up very, very steeply. Perhaps if prices are able to break above that 210 level, we could have another of that 1 GT bullish signal coming right out, and then the upside could continue towards that 230 resistance level. So Gloria, I think if you are looking to sell, just some of the key levels for you to take note of. Perhaps you may even want to set up some alerts if prices cross that 210 level. All you got to do is just right click, add alert, prices crossing 210, maybe you just put 2.11 to give you that confirmation that 210 has officially been crossed already. All right, so let me just turn on that trailing support right now and see what it says. We have that trailing support right around that 180 level. So especially if you're intending to continue to ride on that trend, if prices break above that 210 level, just use that trailing support as a guide for you to place your stop loss level or your stop limit orders to continue to ride that trend. But I think so far that initial reversal again is looking intact. All right, now we're a little bit of a no man's land. We are not close to the resistance. You're not really close to that support as well. But I think if that trend or that momentum can continue since Wednesday, another few good price movements, we should see that 210 level being tested. All right. Okay, so that is a very, very quick one for Seatrium. All right. Pass the time back to Z again to cover the next stock.
Okay, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen. The next stock that I'll be covering, right, is CNMC Goldmine, right, from Miffy. Miffy is actually asking about CNMC Goldmine. Should hold or sell? You bought at around 0.337. Okay, let's take a look at this, right? Okay, so if we just take a look at these, let me just turn off the signals first. And we just purely look at the trend itself. The trend, does it look good? I would think that the trend actually looks very good. Like everything is actually pointing up. Prices is actually making higher lows. All three moving averages are pointing up, right? So the thing that is that we often have a lot of questions like this from our clients, right? Whereby when the stock is actually looking good, right, they're actually thinking about selling. But actually, the thing is that if the stock is looking good, you don't have to rush to actually sell, right? But that doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. You still have to do something because now you bought at 33, somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around this 337, and you're probably sitting on profits already, right? But does it mean that you have to rush to sell? No, it doesn't mean that you have to rush to sell, but there's certain things that you can do to actually protect your profits, right? While continuing to ride the uptrend, especially so when the uptrend is actually still looking great, right? With all the moving averages still heading up. So let me just turn on the signals to have a look as well, and as well as the trading support and resistance, okay? Okay, so in terms of this particular stock, we did have a 1 GT bullish signal coming out on the 11th of April, right over here, right? And at this point, there isn't any 1 GT bearish signal yet, right? So and prices, and if we take a look at this, prices actually went all the way up to about this close to 48 cents, right? This is where we actually saw selling pressure coming in. So very clearly, this would be one of the resistance level to actually take note, right? Right over here, when selling pressure come in, push prices back down. But price still seems to be able to hold above this 40 cents psychological support. Right over here, buyers came back in to support the prices, and right now price is actually still managing to hold above this 40 cents, right? And the key thing is it is still holding above this trailing support level, right? We can see that this trailing support level is around this 36 cents. Prices is still actually holding above it, which is okay, right? Because remember, the trading support actually accounts for the stock volatility, giving the stock room to breathe. And as long as it's holding above the trading support, it is still not too bad, right? It's still good. It's still good. Especially so when we look at these two moving averages, the longer term is actually still heading up. So what do I mean by, you don't have to rush to sell, but you can still take action to protect your profit. So what can you potentially do, right? So you can actually make use of this thing, which is the trailing support and resistance right over here. Turn off, turn on this trailing support and resistance. You can use it as a guide to help you to place your stop loss as to, protect your profits, right? Like right over here, slightly below the trailing support level to actually protect your profit. So if you mentioned that you bought somewhere around this level, right? that would be protecting about close to a 7% profits, right? But it will also essentially mean that your trade is actually risk-free, right? Because if prices were to retrace back, right, you will still get out with a profit. But of course, the great thing is, if let's say prices is actually able to, like so, right, consolidate before actually pushing higher, right, that would also be great. Why? Because that would means that it will make the trend actually more sustainable in the longer term, right? We want to see some consolidation before price break above resistance and pushing even higher. So if that's the case, if prices actually consolidate and then it goes back up to 48 cents right over here, this is near the resistance. Is it okay to take some partial profits? That would be fine, right? To take some partial profits near this resistance. Oops, sorry, let me just draw this red color box for you. So near this resistance zone right over here, it's okay to take some partial profits. And if prices were to actually really reach this level again, right, it goes back up, after some consolidation, do you think that the trailing support will actually move up? Yes, it would actually also move up, right? It will actually also move up, and probably it will look something like this, right? And this is where you can then shift your stop loss order up again to protect your profits even more while riding the uptrend, right? So the thing is that there's no rush to actually sell, especially when the stock is actually still looking good, but you do have to take some action to actually protect your profits. All right, Miffy? So I hope that helps for CNMC, a very quick one, and I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, very good sharing right there regarding on how you can actually take steps, even if you are sitting on profits. Like most people, if you sit on profits, then you just leave it there, don't bother, and then hopefully it will go up more. But I mean, it's good to do nothing. But the thing is that you also want to take certain actions to protect the profits, all right? Protect the profits, because you don't want to come all the way back down and then your profits become zero again, or then worse, go make even a loss, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you take steps to protect your profits. And that's what you could do as well from the this feature in our One Good Trend Pro indicator, all right? The trailing support, you could use it as a guide. As I say, you give it space for the stock to move higher. If you're above it, you're fine. You could put like what we call a stop loss below this trailing support just to protect your profits. Okay, so very good. Let me go ahead to talk about the next stock. And I would say that would be Colleen. Colleen, I think you're asking about Comfortdelgro, right? Comfortdelgro, please. All right. Thank you so much for being very polite. All right. Appreciate it. Let's see, right? Bought at 1.35, $1.35. Now what price? Now $1.52. So good lah. So you make money already, right? Right? Congratulations, right? Congratulations. Okay, let's skip to the next stock. No, I'm just kidding, all right? Let's continue this stock. $1.35. Now it's 1.52. So you're probably making some good money. Let's see. From here to here, 12%. No, not too bad, right, Colleen? Right, 12%. So should you sell or buy more as it broke the resistance level? Let's see whether you already break the resistance like you say. All right. I would say that not too bad, right? It seems like we have broken this resistance at about the 148 to $1. Okay, let me just go ahead to turn off the bullish and bearish signals for now, right? So very quickly, well, not too bad now. So look at this, right? I would say that we have indeed broken this resistance at about the 148 to 150. So for the past, I would say 7 to 8 months since like September last year, we were actually consolidating below the 148 to 150. All right, because it came down. But finally, over the past 1 2 weeks, not too bad. Huh? We went above the 148 to 150 resistance. Now it's 151, which is still above, right? So that is actually a good thing. It shows that buyers are actually attempting to push even higher, all right? And we're attempting to find a new high. And not only that, let's take a look at the short-term trend to see if there's another confirmation. Look at the green 20 days moving average line. Well, you can see that the green line, it was actually like down, flat, and down in like January. Somewhere in February, March, it started to point up. In April, everything sold off. It went sideways a bit. And then it started to move up, right? Right now, the green 20 days moving average line, I think it is still kind of like pointing up. So quite okay as well, right? So the short-term trend is up. We are above a key support level, maybe from, give a bit of allowance, maybe from 148 to 150. Let me just draw this green support line since that is the support right now. They put in green color. So I think right over here, we could potentially see a horizontal support whereby, that's where we've been holding over the past 2 weeks plus, right? So 148 to 150, that is the near-term support. So now let me go ahead to turn on what we call the bullish and bearish signals, right? To see what has happened over the past few weeks. So very quickly, 1, 2, 3, pump. There we go. All right, and there we have it, right? For Comfortdelgro. Well, a couple of good bullish signal. That was in June 2023. Pump. There we go. All the way up. Another bullish signal starts going up. But along the way, we actually have a couple of bearish signal as well. So not always that rosy and strong, right? Every time we get a bearish signal, you can see it starts coming down a little bit. Of course, in January, we got a bearish signal. It starts coming down as well. All right. A new bullish signal came out. And then I think that was when, April, I think, 7th April. 7th April, almost everything came down, all right, when Trump announced the tariff. So we got a bearish signal. But finally, all right, I think we got a new bullish signal coming out again on the 23rd of April, about 2 weeks back. All right, so I think not too bad. A bullish signal have came out. We are above the 148, 150 support level. I think there could still be more leaks to the rally, maybe all the way up to 160 or near-term target. I think that could be the near-term target to 160, just to do a little bit of a projection. You can see, right, that was where we are consolidating previously. So you can do a bit of a projection based on the previous consolidation range, all right, from here to here. Could be 160 to maybe 165. I mean, just to give a little bit of allowance, 160 to 165. That could be where some selling or some profit taking can come back again. So back to your question, right? Bought at 135. You are definitely sitting on profits, all right, Colin. You're definitely sitting on profits right now. Now it's 151, 152. Confirm sitting on profits. So you want to take steps to let it hopefully move up more, all right? Move up more. Take some profits, the 155 to 165, all right? That's perfectly fine. But what you could do as well would be to take steps to protect your profit. So you could have a stop loss. I mean, if you could advise a little bit, you could have a stop loss just below this horizontal support level. It depends, right? You want it to be a bit tighter, you could put it right over here. That could be a stop loss, maybe at about 144, 145, just to protect it, right? In case it were to break down this support level. So you will get out and you still make money. All right, but the worst thing is that you want it to go all the way back down and then you're back to square one. So take steps to protect your profits while giving the stock room to breathe, to hopefully move higher, and you can hopefully maximize your profits even more as it heads towards the targets that I talk about, 155 all the way to 165. All right, Colin, so I hope that helps. That would be for Comfortdelgro. So let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next Singapore stock.
Thanks, Joey. All right, okay. So I was looking through the chat. I think this one. Okay, so here we go. Ray, I hope you're still here. Right, you're asking about Parkwaylife REITs. Not much context there, so we just throw it up. Yeah, I'm not too sure if you bought, you sold, or you want to buy back now. All right, but I think just on the first glance, I think one of the REITs that have already recovered quite a little bit and almost back to that 2022, 2020, late 2021 levels. So I think the question is there more upside would be the most important question, right? But I think the first thing is we are looking at the 100 days, 200 days moving average, the longer term trend. What does it look like? Definitely still looking good. Alongside with that 20 days moving average, the shorter term trend also looking good as well. It had broke above that previous $4 psychological level that it was kept under, and we have what we call higher lows being formed as well. So I think that longer term trend or that uptrend is still looking very good, very good. This is something we would like to see for most counter. A little bit of like what Zee mentioned, a little bit of consolidation along the way up is a healthy consolidation or a healthy uptrend. So let me just change this to a green color first. All right, so you're still holding it long. Great. That means hope you're sitting on some profits and you have enjoyed a little bit of a dividend along the way as well. So I think right now, if you're looking to sell, I think not in a hurry just yet because the trend is still looking good. You do not have any bearish candlesticks coming in or any heavy selling pressure coming in just yet. So just let me turn on that 1GT buy and sell signal, and we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1GT bullish signals. So I think all 5 of these are still in play. We do not see that 1GT bearish signal just yet. Not much selling pressure going on. But of course, it's very normal. It's very normal to see a little bit of a selling pressure coming back in close to a resistance level, that $4.30 level. But I think it's still holding up pretty well. So let's just see our trailing support right now. We got that trailing support right around that $4 psychological level right now. So if you're looking to protect profits, like I think what Zee have also mentioned, or Joey have also mentioned, you may want to use that trailing support as a level where you place that stop limit order just slightly below it, protect that profit so far, because of course you have been holding for a while. Probably you don't want to turn that profits into losses. You're not in a hurry to sell as well. You want to continue to ride that uptrend, but to where? So I think the thing that we can do the simple again, bring it up just slightly, and you can see that the upside could be up to that 460 level. Just a little tip as well, if you want to make sure that you want to check if prices have previously came to these 460 levels. Yes, it has. Just zoom out a little bit on the chart and you can see sometime in December of 2021, prices have approached that level, and then we saw a little bit of selling, or some selling actually came in at the same time. So if prices were to break above, you want to have some alerts being set up, Ray. Just set up your alerts on your trading view to let yourself know that that 430 level has given way. Perhaps even another 1 GT bullish signal could come in. You could set that alert, so then you know that you can continue to ride that uptrend up to that 460 level, and then maybe perhaps you can come in and take a look again. Is there a healthy consolidation that happened, like since March to now? Is there something like that happened? So if there's a healthy consolidation, perhaps even that uptrend could continue furthermore from that 460 level. But I think in the nearer term, let's watch if that 430 level gives way. Do not think you are in a hurry to sell as well. So I think it's just sit back and set your stop limit order situation. All right, Ray? Okay, so I'll pass the time now back to Z to cover the next stock.
Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay. Thanks, Bervyn. Let me just share this. Okay. So the next talk that I'll be covering will be from VC, right? So VC is actually asking about WeHer, right? So you bought WeHer at about 44 cents. After XD, WeHer dropped back to 44 cents. So I assume which is your entry price line. You're thinking whether is it good to hold or to sell. Okay. So let's talk about this. All right. So for WeHer, only from September, I think this was one of the stocks that we actually covered in one of our previous Ask Me Any stock session in the past few weeks as well. And we can see that, from September onward, this was where we actually got the second, okay, this is not the first 1 GT bullish signal. The first 1 GT bullish signal actually started somewhere here, right, in May. This was the second one, and this was where we get more confirmation from the moving averages, right? All of the 3 moving averages started to point up as well, and this was where things got a bit more exciting, right? And then subsequently towards the Q4 of 2024, to where we are at now, prices have kind of just been trading in a range, right? And where that range would be around this 34 cents support level right over here, where we can see, price actually, broke above it. We retested it right over here. Let me change this to black. Okay, we tested it right over here, and then over here again, and neared it, right? So it actually tested this 34 cents support level multiple times, right? And in terms of resistance, what are we looking at? We are looking at this level near this 48 cents, right? Near this 48 cents, whereby first thing first, we saw this very long upper shadow candlestick right over here, right? Prices near this 48 cents level, but selling pressure came back in to push price back down, right? Same thing likewise over here as well. This was where we actually saw selling pressure came back in, and this was where we are at just a couple of days ago, right? Prices went all the way up very, very close to the 48 cents, but then unable to break above it. Selling pressure is still much stronger, right? So right now price is at trading about 44 cents, which is where you are at in terms of entry, right? So the thing is that that's the reason why, right? If you have bought near the support, the resistance level, the runway to the resistance zone, right? It's not that much, right? It's not that much. So that's the reason why we only want to buy when prices are actually near a support level. Because you buy near 44 cents, not say you cannot buy, you can buy. But if you buy already, your runway up to the resistance level right over here, is not that much. Comparing to if let's say someone bought near the support level, right? It will be about close to, almost 40%. But if you have bought near the resistance level, probably the price rise will probably be only about like 5-6% or even 7%, comparing to about a 40%, right? So that's the whole reason why we only want to buy when it's near a support, not near a resistance. What we want to do near a resistance is that we want to take profits, right, rather than buying. Only if prices is able to break above a resistance level. For example, let's see. So for example, if I'm not sure if price will actually break above this 48 cents or not, okay? But if prices is actually able to break and hold above this 48 cents, what happens is that this 48 cents would effectively turn to what we become a support level, right? And then when it's able to firmly hold above this support level, can we potentially position ourselves for entry? Yes, then that would mean that this could be our potential entry zone, right? So if prices is able to break above this 48 cents level and firmly hold above it, right, where could our potential targets be? Very simple. We do this projection upwards again because we know that price have actually been trading within this range for a couple of months, right? And then we actually project it up. So somewhere near this 60 cents level, right, a psychological 60 cents would be the next resistance that perhaps you want to look out for, right? So for VC right now, I think if let's say you do want to take your profits, right, when prices actually reach these 48 cents, I think that's also okay lah, because the thing is that it is indeed near a resistance, and whenever we are near a resistance, we want to take some profits. But of course, the thing is that I'm not sure whether if price can actually break and hold above this 48 cents. If it does, then great, right? Then potentially prices can ride all the way up to the 60 cents level. But of course, don't forget to protect your downside, right? To manage your downside. And if prices, comes back down, right? I'm not sure, right? If prices actually comes back down and then unable to hold above this support level that I've mentioned, then perhaps that's where you want to think about getting out and reducing your exposure, because we don't want to be sitting on huge losses. All right. So that would be for we her. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, let me move on and try to cover the next one, and that would be Yang Zijiang. All right, Yang Zijiang. Okay, let's see. I think Yao Kuan. I think seems like Yang Zijiang Shipbuilding, a base from 2,000 to 22,000. I think you're talking about $2 to 220, is it? All right, slowly accumulate for the reversal, or maybe looking to buy. Right, is it time to buy? I think that's from Yao Kuan. I think another of you asking about Yang Zijiang Shipbuilding as well. We have Farine, right? Yang Zijiang should hold or sell. You buy at $2.22. Now is what? Now it's $2.12. Okay, very good. So let's find out for Yang Zijiang Shipbuilding. Is it time to maybe think about getting in? Are there some signs of a reversal finally coming back after the past few months of selling? Let's find out, right? Okay, so this is Yang Zijiang. $2.12. Now it's $2.11. So this is live, guys. It's moving up and down, right? So it's like $2.11. And you can see that for Yang Zijiang, actually, it was one of the stocks that we liked since last year. In fact, last year we covered it a couple of times, in 2024. Look at this, right? We've got a bullish signal in January 2024. That was last year. Another bullish one. And we really started to move up, all right, all the way up 80% in about 6-7 months, right? Very strong. Of course, bearish signals started to come out, and then we were like just moving sideways, a bit boring. And most recently, another bullish signal in December. All right, December, we got a bullish signal, and we actually started to push up even more. All right, all the way 21% in about 2 months. And what happens? Well, right over here, right, you can see quite clearly that we had not one, but we have two bearish signals. So as I say, right, whenever we get bearish signal, like over here as well previously, something like this. Look at this, right? We've got two bearish signals, it starts coming down. All right, we've got a bearish signal, it starts coming down. So whenever we get a bearish signal, it just means that we are indeed seeing some heavy, serious selling coming back. All right, it would be good. I mean, you have got in previously on the bullish signal, will be good to get out, maybe take some profit. All right, if you're sitting on profits, maybe reduce some exposure. You don't want it to hold all the way down, because this bearish signal comes out, right, because we would have broken what we call a very key support level, like a trailing support, whereby we give the stock space to move up. So let me show you what I mean, right? Right over here, if you can turn on the trailing support, you can see, right? There would be what we call a trailing support. Okay, let's give some time to load. Right over here, popping up, you can see this trailing support, follow, and give it space to move up. But right over here, why did the bearish signals comes out, right? Because we broke down the trailing support level. And that was where we got two bearish signals, after breaking a horizontal support level as well, right? So that is the reason why we sold all the way down. And you could see, right, we sold all the way down from here, all the way 40% down, all right? I mean, from the bearish signal. So if you have got in, I mean, if you're alerted to this bearish signal, you probably would have got out. I mean, you would have saved a ton of money, right? Just by getting out and then maybe still sit on profits rather than, all the way down and then your profits also no more already, right? So that's how having a tool like this could help you, all right, to alert you to get in, not just get in, but also to get out, all right? Because getting in is easy. I think most people know that. Buy very easy. I just go and buy right? Just leave it there. Don't bother about it, right? Very easy, right? But the getting out is the part that a lot of people have challenged, right? They don't know when to get out. Should you buy more? Should you keep? Should you hold? Should you get out? Should you take profit? Most people have no idea. So how? But just by having this tool to guide you. In fact, you could set an alert as well. Like, look at this, right? So price, you set a 1GT Pro alert, buy or sell alert, done. All right. So whenever there's any bullish or bearish signals, you will be alerted, right? And that's how we were alerted as well to get out. All right. And maybe to get back in again when the time comes, when you see a new bullish signal. So let's take a look at what has happened over the past few weeks. So for Yangtze Shipbuilding, right? Bervyn, right, should hold or sell because you bought at $2.22. Well, I would say that after the two bearish signal that came out in February, that was even before this whole April sell down. February, I think there was some news about the port. I think there was a 1.5 million port charges on Chinese ships, and then that was when the escalation of US and China trade tensions started. All right, and yeah, we started to sell down because of that, right? And of course, in April, it sold down even more, all right. But you could see that the green 20 days moving average line was down as another confirmation of the short-term trend turning down and two bearish signals. And then we go down. Well, finally, over the past few daase, right? I mean, it's only a few days, in fact, 2 days only, we have got a new bullish signal coming out. Look at this, right? The first 1GT bullish signal coming out. Why did it come out? Well, you quite clearly see that we actually attempted to break above this trailing resistance level. We are kind of like still below it, but hopefully we can really go above the 220. I think you can write it down. For $2.20. In fact, I just draw it for you, right? Let me just turn it off. I can draw it for you. I think $2.20 would be a very key psychological resistance level for Yangtze. For the past 2-3 weeks, we are still below it. Now we are still kind of below it. So we got a 1GT bullish signal coming up because we attempted to just go above it for a while, for like 1 day. The green line has also turned up as another good confirmation of a potential reversal, but we still need to clear, all right, and break above the 220, which is very critical because, as I say, past 2 weeks, we are below it, right? That is a resistance level. But if you look back over the past year, that was actually a support level. We rebounded, all right? We rebounded right over here. Same thing over here, we rebounded. So it's a very key support level that has now turned into a key resistance level that we are still below. So if we can go above the 220, I don't know, I mean like 221 or 222 or 22 something, 225, 226, great, right? I think that would be another added confirmation, all right, of a stronger reversal move maybe happening all the way to $2.60. Why 260? Well, you can see 260 was where we were just last year. It's like touch, come down. So that could be the upside, all right? If we can hold above and break above the 220 and stay above it all the way up to 260 near-term target. So it's still a bit early to say because, I mean, there are some signs of some bargain hunting coming back, potential reversal in the short term as well. But I think for an added confirmation, all right, and that's part of our checklist as well, we want to just break and stay above a resistance level as well, and the 220 would be one level to watch. All right, Ken. So I hope that answers your question for me regarding should you hold or sell? You bought at 222. I think you probably bought it maybe over here. You probably don't want to buy over then because at that point in time the bearish signal was still in play, right? It actually went down even more. Thankfully, it went back up for you, all right? But if you can break above 220, good, all right? I think that would give it more leeway for the reversal move to happen even more, and that's why you could take some profit, hopefully near 250 to 260. All right, so that would be for Yangtze Shipbuilding. The code is BS6. Okay, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock. Bervyn?
Thanks, Joey. All right, I think Styler was asking earlier on, I think very early on in this AMAS session, Keppel Limited average cost at 5.45. Wow. So I mean, definitely sitting on profits already because I think as of this morning, as of yesterday, also tested the 680 level. What is the trend? So is it too early to take some profits? So the keyword here is take some profits, not take all profits. All right, that's a very good question then. I think right now, yes, I think what you're seeing should be the same thing I'm seeing as well. So just let me turn off this trailing support and resistance first. As you can see, that 680 level was where multiple times it have tested in 2024 twice, sometime earlier this year once, came close to it in March. And right now we are back to that 680 level. So 1, 2, 3, even in the past there's more, but let's not look that far. We have tested this resistance a lot of times and it has been respected, or it has formed like a ceiling where every time prices have came close to this level, we actually see a little bit of a profit taking come in, and even we actually saw prices have actually sold down from that level as well. So if you are looking to take some profits, Styler, definitely very valid to actually take some profits for Keppel Corp, especially close to this resistance level. So right now, I think even as of today, we are within like what we call a sell zone where we expect selling to happen over the last 3 days. I think even yesterday prices have went quite slightly lower than the sell zone or our sell zone as well. And we have that 100 days, 200 days moving average moving a little bit more sideways. Yes, the nearer term trend looking good. We have that 1 GT bullish signal coming up from when that $6 psychological support or psychological resistance turned into a support was broken after that sell down on the 7th of April. So there wasn't much consolidation on the way up. We can see prices very swiftly just push higher and higher and higher every day. So not really a good sign of a healthy uptrend or a healthy nearer term uptrend being formed just yet. So nothing wrong. I would say if you want to maybe reduce your exposure a little bit, take some profits off the table, enjoy the weekend, I think yes, you are really in that zone to be selling as well. But your keyword will be take some profit. So that means you are intending to hold on to some of these positions to ride the uptrend as well, or potentially continue to expose yourself a little bit further just in case that 680 level gives way. So I think that's a good plan as well. So as of right now, we do not see any signs of it breaking that 680 just of yet. Do I think whether it will break next week, following week, next month? Not sure as of now. But we have that 1 GT bullish signal still in play. So if the 680 level gives way, you could see another 1 GT bullish signal coming in at that level as well. Then what would be the upside? If you're tending to hold, then you should care about is the upside enough for you to be continue holding. I think in the nearer term, if you do a projection upwards, I think yes, it's quite a significant upside back. Not back to, is up to that 760 level from that key support. We took a forecast, or we took a projection up to that resistance, that current resistance, shifted up, and it's about another 12% up to that 760 level. So I think yes, leaving yourself a little bit of exposure could be good, but I think at the same time you want to just take note that that trailing support is right around that 630 level. You may want to protect some profits because you already bought at 545. All right. Okay. So one more thing to maybe just add an alert to let yourself know if the 680 level is being broken for Keppel. I think so far so good. Just a little bit lack of consolidation as of now. Perhaps if we can also see like prices consolidate just under that 680 to form a temporary support close to that 680 level, I think that will be good to see as well. But I think Styler, I think you're in a good position. Nothing wrong to take profits, but I think leaving yourself some exposure is quite good as well. All right. So pass the time now back to Z again to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen. I think the next stock that I'll be covering is by Bakguan, right? Bakguan is asking whether is it actually a good time to buy into Olam Group, right? So let's take a look at this stock, right? Because very recently, I mean, of course, we see a 1 GT bullish signal, but does it mean that whenever we see a 1 GT bullish signal coming out, we straight away go in and buy a stock? We always have to analyze the trend first, right? It always goes back to the basic. First thing first is always talking about the trend. So if we look at this stock, right, right now, very recently, we actually do see, the longer term trend, right? the red is the red has crossed below the blue, so it's blue, red, and green, right? So in terms of the longer term trend wise, it doesn't look that great at this point in time. Plus the fact that both of this moving average, right, the red and the blue line, is actually pointing downwards, right? It's actually pointing downwards. It's not even going sideways. It's pointing downwards. So when the longer term trend is actually pointing downwards, that's the first sign. Kind of like a first red flag already. Like, okay, maybe I should not rush into this stock, even though I do see a 1GT bullish signal coming out, right? And second thing, so after you analyze the trend, right, we take a look at, where's the support and the resistance, and these are the horizontal support and resistance that I'm looking at. And first thing first, very, very clearly, we see a very strong psychological resistance at this $1 level, right? This $1 level, because why? Price has actually been holding above this $1, right, since April all the way to February, right over here, before it broke down. So that's a good 11 months, close to 1 year. Prices have been holding above this $1. So right now, price have broken down. We see a 1GT bearish signal, and since then, let's take a look. Like from this very first 1GT bullish signal to where we are at right now, price have gone down for about, almost 20%, right? And even the lowest that it has gotten was right over here, about 32%, right? So the thing is that right now we actually do see some short-term strength coming back in. Yes, we do see a 1GT bullish signal. We do see, the green line starts to point up, but has it broken above this $1 key psychological resistance yet? At this point in time, no, right? It's still kept below this $1. So what I want to see is for price being able to actually break, and not just break, but must be able to hold above this $1 for it to potentially head back to a sideways consolidation, because then we perhaps might start to see the 100 days and 200 days moving average then starts to point up. So when that actually happens, then potentially we can actually do a range trading. But at this point in time, if you were to think about buying, I would say we will perhaps you might want to see more confirmation first, not just seeing a 1GT bullish signal, but of course you want to see price being able to hold above a critical, key level such as the $1 psychological level before actually considering and taking any action, because there's no point to actually rush in to buy just because, like what Joey has mentioned, just because that you think that it's cheap, right now 90 cents, last time was about $1.25. It's a good discount of 30 cents. I want to buy it now. No, that's not the case, right? We always want to make sure that we have more confirmation before we actually enter into any stock. And of course, do also have a trading plan. That means which is your entry price, your target price, and as well as your stop loss price. Okay, but Guan, I hope that helps. So don't have to rush in, okay? Maybe what you want to do is perhaps you want to set some price alert, above this $1, right? To see, when price actually break above this $1, can it really hold above this $1 before you actually think about considering to position yourself for entry? Okay, so passing the time back over to Joey to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. So I think we can just go one more round before we move on to our bonus stocks, the 3 bonus stocks at the end, right? So very quickly, guys, 1 minute or 2 minutes max, one stock, and then we move on. So let me go ahead to cover the next one. I think that would be Eric Anderson, right? You're asking about Hong Kong land. The code is H78. Okay, I bought at $5.08. All right, can hold. Okay, so you bought it, whether it can hold, whether it can move up some more. Hopefully, can make some profit, right? Let's find out. Okay, now it's at 5.04. Okay, so down a little bit. All right, don't need to be stressed. Right, don't be stressed. I mean, it's only down 4 cents. But let's take a look at it and see, could there potentially be more upside? So you can see this is Hong Kong land. Well, I would say we would have found a pretty good support level right over here, all right, over here at around the $4.80. Let me just put it as a green line. You see, right? So 480, you can see, right? It was actually a resistance level since November last year. Came down, same thing, came down, and finally over the past 1 week, right? We actually broke above the $4.80. So not too bad, right? And we had a couple of bullish signals as well over the past few months. I'll not go too far, but a bullish signal in August, pump, there we go, all the way up. Bearish signal starts coming down a little bit, all right? But let me zoom into what has happened over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Well, we actually had a new bullish signal coming out on the 25th of April, about 2 weeks back, 25th April, we got a bullish 1GT signal. The long-term trend is up. Look at the red and blue line. They're both up. Great. All right. The short-term trend, let's take a look at the green line. Is it up? Well, it was like sideways down a bit. But over the past 1 week, well, it has started to point up. I mean, is it pointing up more? I mean, we can extrapolate. I mean, that is what we want to see, right? We want to see the green line continue to move up even more. That will be another confirmation that the short-term trend has gone up even more. But right now, it is already up, as you can see, right? Over the past 2 weeks, the green line has turned up. So I think not too bad, right? Anything above the 480 to maybe above $5, I would say that the trend still looks intact. The uptrend looks intact. There could still be more upside, right? Maybe targets could be all the way, or we can do a bit of a projection, right? So what could be a target? Well, if you look at a target, we can look at the past, right, to see where we were previously. So previously, right over here, we could actually draw a resistance level somewhere over here at about $5.50. Look at this, right? Came down. A couple of bearish signals previously in 2018, right? 2018, look at this, 2018 came down. So $5.50, a very key resistance level. Let's zoom all the way to where we are right now. There we go, right? $5.50. So that could be where I would say some heavy selling could come back again. You might want to take some profit right over there. All right, take partial profit is fine. All right, might just consolidate below it for a while before attempting to push higher again, right? So that would be Hong Kong land. Looks pretty good, above 480 to $5. I think the uptrend looks intact. Bervyn, back to you.
Thanks, Joey. All right, next one. I think Ray is asking about SGX. Let me just throw it up on the screen. Sorry, just let me remove this, turn this off quickly. Just very quickly, if we look at SGX, we have two new 1GT bullish signals that have came in. Both came in April. Prices finally broke above that $14 level that I think we have previously covered as well in our last AMAS session. I think this was one of those bonus stocks that we are looking at as well. And we are currently very, very close to that support. So if you are looking to get in, perhaps this is a level you want to set some alerts on to let yourself know that this is potentially a window for entry. A little bit of a consolidation, good consolidation have came in previously as prices moved higher, consolidated a little bit, pushed higher, consolidated a little bit, pushed higher, consolidated a little bit. So the healthy uptrend, or what Z likes to say, a beautiful uptrend is forming. So that is a good sign. That's a good sign for holders of SGX, and I think market volume is up. So I think SGX is doing rather well as well. So I will place that immediate resistance right around that $15 level first. So from the current level, that would be about a 7% upside. So if Ray, I'm not too sure if you are holding onto some SGX shares or looking to get in, so you can also turn on that trailing support and resistance to take a look, and you can see it's a little bit blocked right now. Is the trailing support is right near that $13 to $13.50 level. So I think if you have been previously holding, this is where you want to set some stop limit orders, protect those profits at the same time. And if that $15 level is able to give way, or starts to give way, potentially upside up to $16 is also very, very possible. But I think we want to see that beautiful uptrend continue. So we need to see a little bit more consolidation within this range first before prices break above. So I think not too bad at this point. That longer term uptrend, that shorter term uptrend is still very, very, very much intact. So I think we want to continue watching. For SGX, will still be part of our watch list as well. So I will pass the time on now to Z to cover perhaps the last stock before we move on to the bonus stocks for today.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, let me just share this very quickly. Okay, so the last stock that I will cover today will be by Ricky, right? Before we actually move on to our bonus stock for today. Okay, so Ricky is actually asking, Bumitama Agri bought at 86 cents. Should I hold on to it? Right. So let's just take a look at this, right? So if we can see that the uptrend from the start of the year, I mean 2024, it has been like what Bervyn mentioned. I always like to use the word very beautiful, right? The uptrend is very beautiful because moving averages are all heading up, right? But then somewhere at start of 2025, this is where we start to see some short-term trend having some weakness because we start to see the moving averages, the green line start to point down, and we also did get a 1 GT bearish signal, right? So when you say that you actually bought around 86 cents, I will assume that it will be somewhere here because this was where it was the high, right? And I believe it was indeed at the high, which price actually closed at 86 cents. Okay. And where are we at right now? So right now, price is actually trading about 0.745, right? This is live, and it's trading about 0.745. And Recently, just a couple of weeks back, right, somewhere in April, you actually did see two 1GT bearish signal coming out. So what does this mean? This means that there is indeed more selling pressure returning to the stock, but it doesn't mean that the stock will crash. It's just that there's more selling pressure. And from this, we can also see from the trend, right? How can we see from the trend? We see that the longer term trend, first thing first, the short term trend, I don't have to talk about it. Like the green one, obviously, it is actually pointing down, right? It's actually pointing down. It's not even pointing up, right? And now the red line, which is longer term 100 days moving average, has also started to show signs of weakness, whereby it has also started to slope downwards, right? And this actually confirms with, the 1GT bullish signal, bearish signal, whereby we actually see two right over here in early April, right? And in terms of the support level, so if let's say you have hold at 86 cents, I do hope that you have some trading plan in place in terms of where you are thinking to stop loss, right? So when we talk about that, we want to look at supports, right? Support level. So one of the support level that we are actually seeing right over here is around this 72 cents, right? Near this 72 cents right over here, whereby, this is where, prices actually broke above it, tested it right over here, and then tested it over here one more time, and buying pressure came back up and is still holding above this 72 cents lah, right? But if prices is actually broken, like unable to hold and broke below this 72 cents, this is where you want to be a bit more cautious, because the green line will definitely still be pointing down, the red line will point out even more, and perhaps this is where the blue line, which is the 200 days moving average, will also start to point down, right? Because right now it's actually going sideways. So you might want to think of, what is your stop loss plan, right, for this particular counter if prices is actually unable to hold above this 72 cents. All right, so that would be for Bumitama Agri. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually start sharing about our bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you so much. Finally, guys, we have come to almost the end of today's AMAS Singapore session. All right, and right now we are going to the three bonus stocks that me, Bervyn and Zee, each of us will share one bonus stock with you. All right, so let me go to share my screen, and I want to share with you guys this stock right over here called Food Empire. I think some of you actually asked about Food Empire, right? Let's see who is asking. I think like Esther, you asked about Food Empire. Is Food Empire still okay to buy at 152, 153, and also Sheng Siong? All right, so yeah, Food Empire was actually one of the bonus stocks, so I thought I'd leave it to the end. All right, but I think some of you have asked about Food Empire. Okay, so this is Food Empire. You can see, guys, that we are trading at about $1.52. So I've kind of like turned on the 1GT Pro indicator in terms of the bullish and bearish signals. As I say, right, I think that's what we have gone through as well over the past almost 2 hours, on just any stocks, even in the Singapore market as well. We can have a quick opinion in seconds just by looking at the bullish or bearish signals, right? So I turn it on again, it comes out, and it really guides us not just about getting in, but also getting out. So you can see for Food Empire quite clearly, all right, we have a couple of new bullish signals coming out. I would say last year, well, that was in January 2024, we got two bullish signals, and there we go, all the way up, and it was down, right? Bearish, it starts coming down. But let's just zoom into what has happened over the past, I would say, 3 months, right? Past 2 to 3 months. So you can see that we got a new bullish signal in March. So that was when we actually got alerted to it. Of course, I think clients were alerted to it as well, all right, by WhatsApp. And when we got this bullish signal started to push up, of course, on this day, 7 April, I knew it, right? 7 April, everything came down because of Donald Trump reciprocal tariffs, all right? And yeah, we had a bearish signal, we broke certain support, and it came down. But let's just zoom into what has happened again over the past 2 weeks. Well, right now, I would say that on the 23rd of April, about 2 weeks back, well, we got a new 1GT bullish signal. So that's a sign of strength, right? So after a bearish signal comes out, we want to be patient, we want to wait for some stability, we want to wait for a new support, we want to wait for the short-term trend to turn up, the green line, right? And we also want to wait for a bullish 1GT signal. Has it come out? Yes, it came out 2 weeks back, right? It came out, and then we have started to push up a little bit now. I mean, from like about 130 when it came out, now it's about 150 something, right? Slightly higher, all right? But there could still be more legs to the rally, all right? I would say some support have maybe came out right around the $1.40 level. So after the bullish signal, you can see we went up and we were supported quite well above the $1.40 level, like 142, 145, 148, and then up and down, all right, for more than a week. And over the past few days, well, it seems like we have actually attempted to even go above the psychological $1.50 level. So now is what? 152, right? Good, which is above the 150, right? So that could be a good thing. So, if you can hold above 150, I mean, it's only 2 days, but if you can hold above 150 now, great, right? Then it will not be 140 anymore. I think the support will be raised to be $1.50. Then maybe you might consolidate. It seems like it's always doing like a 10 cents range, right? 140 to 150, then 150 to 160, and then 160 to 170, right? I mean, that could be like the range it is doing. So I think so far, so good. At least the support is getting higher. Buyers are willing to come back to defend the prices and to buy at higher prices. All right. And that's why we are seeing at the stock consolidate at a higher level. So not too bad. I think anything above the 140 or maybe above 150, the uptrend looks intact. All right. We could still see more upside. All right. So that would be the first bonus stock I'll share with you, and that would be Food Empire. So before I pass on the mic to Bervyn, all right, to share with you guys a little bit more, on his bonus stock, I'll show you guys on this thing, right? So what happens is that, as I say, right, for this 1GD Pro indicator, you can turn it on and off, and there are a bit more advanced features like the trailing support and resistance, risk management, and some of the more advanced stuff. But we do actually have a light version, right? And I would say that would be the one good trend, a light indicator. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so I'll just place, team can just help me to place the link in the chat. So for those of you who want to test out, all right, this the light version, whereby it just consists of the bullish and the bearish signals without all the advanced features. Well, you could test it out. The link is right in the chat. Click on it, and that's where you come to this page right over here. All right, the most incredible free gift ever in the stock market, right? Test drive by one good trend light indicator for free. All right, that's a simpler version of the Pro that we have shown you all this while, right? That is just consists of the bullish and bearish signals without all the advanced features. So that's where you can test drive this one good trend light indicator for free, and you get like over $3,997 worth of pure money making information for free, just for saying maybe, just for testing it out, right? So that is it. There's the page, the link is in the chat. Check it out, all right? And that's how you could get a test of, test drive this entire light version of the indicator. Okay, so I'll pass on the mic to Bervyn to share with you guys his bonus stock for today. Bervyn, all yours.
Thank you, Joey. All right. Okay, so Joey covered Food Empire. So I think my bonus stock for today, just let me put it up on the screen, will be this company. I mean, everybody will have probably heard of it already. Is Sembcorp Industry. So the prices have moved up, and I feel that it's a good time to continue covering this stock or to continue following this stock. So just a little bit of a background. So the stock had actually started to show signs of an uptrend reversal since sometime in September, where the 20 days moving average actually crossed the 100 and 200 days moving average, and sometime in December we have that 1GT bullish signal, and that 100 days moving average have crossed above the 200 days, and they have started to move up. All right, so since then I think a little bit of a consolidation had happened. All right, so it was consolidating between the range of 480 upwards to that 560 level, and sometime in February we actually see that 560 level finally giving way, turning into a support. All right, so that is a good sign. It had tested a few times, came close, 1, 2, 3, finally break above, and prices came back down close to this 560 level, tested it even on the sell down day on the 7th of April. Like Joey had mentioned, this 560 level was still pretty much respected by the buyers, did not push further down than that 560 levels. And then subsequently, as you can see on the next day, buyers quickly came back in to push prices back up. But previously we were kept pretty much under this 550 level, 650 level, until I think a couple of last week, there was 2 1GT bullish signals that actually came in, and we saw this 650 level finally giving way. And right now, I think even as yesterday, this 650 level was tested once, but didn't really break through. Prices still held above that 650 level, and as of today, we are back close to that 650 level. So I would say we are in a very, very, very good spot right now, as long as that 650 level is able to hold. All right, so just doing a simple projection from here again upward to just find out what's the upside looking like. Around that 740 level, I would place the next target towards. All right, so I think if you have been following this stock for a while, I think you can see that that trailing support is right around that psychological $6 level. So that's where you can start to protect a little bit of profits. But I think the most important thing is you want to make sure that this 650 level, or want to take note that this 650 level got to hold before prices can push higher towards that 740 level. So I think so far it has been looking good. It has been looking good. Potentially, we may see a little bit of a consolidation that have happened in the past happen again. So prices may fluctuate between the 650 level towards the towards the 740 level. Where potentially, I mean, if you have been holding a little bit of a Sembcorp industry since the past, maybe there's a level to maybe also protect a little bit of profits, to maybe also take some profits, reduce a little bit on your position to enjoy those profits as well. So you do not want to actually sell all. That is also fine. So I will be continuing to follow this Sembcorp industry. So I'll pass the time now to Z to perhaps cover the last bonus stock for today. Z,
All right.
please.
Thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the last bonus stock for today that I'll be sharing will be none other than ST Engineering, right? Because this ST Engineering stock has been performing exceptionally well ever since we actually first started sharing it in February. And I mean, let's just take a look at this, right? When we first started sharing it, and this was where the 1GT bullish signal first came out, and to where it is currently at right now, over a span of about 5 months, price have risen about 62%, and currently there is still no bearish signal coming out yet, right? And of course, I don't have to talk about the trend, right? We see the moving averages, all of them are actually pointing up. And I think I saw one of the comments earlier by Ian, who is asking about ST Engineering, whether to sell or whether to accumulate, right? So let's talk about it technically. So this is what we have been sharing over the past couple of bonus our past couple of sessions in terms of bonus stocks, and you can see that all these green lines right over here are all the support level, right, that has been consistently being broken by this particular stock, right? And right now we are seeing that price is actually testing this $7.50 right over here, and I think that price have just just broken above it the three days ago, and it is currently still testing it, right? I mean, of course, right now, since now is the Singapore exchange lunch break, right? Price actually closed at $7.62. But of course, I'm not sure today whether price will actually close below this 750 or not. But at this point in time, it's still actually holding above it. So let me just change this to green, right? Let me just change this to green. And in terms of thinking about selling, where can we potentially sell at? One of the targets that we have actually drawn right over here will be the $8 psychological level right over here. And how did we actually get this? Was actually from a projection up, right, to $8. And $8 is actually also a psychological round and nice number, whereby potentially there could be sellers placing their orders there to actually sell, right? So that is where we potentially could see some selling pressure comebacks in, especially if price is able to head up and head to this $8 level. But of course, what I would like to see is, you see over the past, since April, right, middle of April to where we are at, price have just been climbing up and up, right? We have not really seen any sort of consolidation yet. So I think what I would prefer to see before price, actually shoot up all the way to $8. I mean, of course, if price shoot up all the way to $8, happy, right? Happy. But whether if is the uptrend actually sustainable is another question. So it will be great if we actually able to see some consolidation before the price push up even higher. Okay, and that is where you can potentially actually take some partial profits near the $8 level. But for those who are thinking, should I actually buy now? Is the stock actually too high to buy now? What we can do is that we can actually turn on this trailing support and resistance function right over here, and we can see that price actually the trailing support, right, will actually follow the prices, and it actually moves up, right? As we can see right over here, it goes up sideways, go up sideways, go up sideways. So it will keep following the prices as long as the prices moves up. And one of the areas that you potentially might want to consider, right, to actually take some profits, if you're thinking that it's a bit too expensive now, price is a bit too high, where can you potentially look towards, and what can guide you in terms of potential entry, right, will be to look at the trading support level, right? But of course, that being said, right now the trading support is somewhere near this $7, right? So if price is unable to hold above this 750 and come back down and then do some consolidation here, perhaps this trailing support level would flatten out, right? And this is where we can also position ourselves for entry near the trailing support, right? Near the trailing support. And this would be a potential zone for entry if for those, who are actually thinking about, getting in, right? Because as long as you are still holding above a trailing support, is it okay? Yeah, I would think that it's still okay, especially so when we are looking at, the uptrend is still firmly intact with the moving averages. All right. So that are some of the price levels that perhaps you can set some price alert near the $8 if you're thinking about, taking some partial profits, right? And if you want, for potential zone of entry, perhaps somewhere near the $7, or you have to monitor where the trading support level is at, and you can actually set some price alert near the trading support level to actually alert you and then to tell you to take a look. Hey, okay, maybe this is where I want to position myself for entry to actually ride the uptrend. All right. So this will be the analysis for ST Engineering. I hope that helps. And it will still be in our watch list as long as the trend is actually still looking good. All right. So I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually wrap up today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so let me go ahead to kind of like just share what are all the stocks that we covered today, including the bonus stocks. So in case you miss any of the stocks, right, guys, you can watch the replay. You can go to watch the replay. So very quickly, we covered the S&P 500 Index, STI as well in the morning when we started. All right, and then of course we talk about Singtel, Geo Energy, the Hourglass, Riverstone, IFAS, Singpost, Centurion, Seatrium, CNMC Goldmine, right? One of the gold stocks, and we have Comfortdelgro, Parkwaylife, REIT, Wehe, Yangzijiang Shipbuilding. I covered that as well. All right, Keppel, Olam Group. Number 16, we have Hong Kong Land. Number 17, we have SGX, right? Singapore Exchange. And number 18, we have Bumitama, Agri. And that was pretty much the 18 stocks that you guys asked and we actually covered, right? And the 3 bonus stocks, let's do a quick recap. I talk about Food Empire, Bervyn talk about Sembcorp Industry, and Z just covered ST Engineering, right? So that is pretty much all the stocks that we talk about today. If you miss any of them or you want to just do a quick recap, watch the replay, it'll be on my YouTube channel as well, right? So our apologies, guys. As I say, our apologies. I know there's still quite a lot of stocks. I've just scrolled through the chat messages and I see a lot of stocks that we are still not able to cover. Our apologies, we're not able to cover. There's more than 50, 60 stocks each time, guys. Each time we can cover maximum like 15 to 18 stocks. So hopefully you can join us in the next session. All right, the next Ask Me Any Stock session. So today is Friday, Singapore. Next Friday will be the US market. So next Friday, join us for the US market, and that's where we look forward to cover your US stock as well. All right. So thank you so much for joining us today. All right. And as I say, right, guys, if you want to find out today, we don't have time to cover the entire strategy. So I've placed the link in the chat regarding the 1GT light indicator, the simpler version of the indicator that we were showing you just now without all the advanced features. It just consists of the bullish and bearish signals. That is good as well. I mean, it guide you on when to get in, when to get out, just by looking at the buy and sell signal. So the links in the chat, check it out. And if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire one good trend strategy that all of us have been using for me more than a decade now, for Bervyn and Zee more than 3 to 4 5 years now, attend one of those free webinars. All right, we have a webinar next week, I think next Tuesday. All right, so check it out. The link is in the chat. I'll just place it there one more time, and that's where I look forward to share with you guys a little bit more on the backbone of the entire strategy. All right, and also how to actually filter out like the top 1% of stocks before knowing when to buy and sell them. All right, so that will be shared in the webinar. All right, check it out. The link is right in the chat. So Joey here, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to see you in the next live session. All right, so have a good long weekend. Take care. Bye.
Thanks,
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Enjoy the weekend.
Bye. Enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.